right. Hello and welcome to Define Roots. And I'll call this the podcast, but it's more of a journal. And it's been such a long time since I've done this. And so much have changed. Like every episode, I feel like so much changes. It's like I don't feel like even like I'm not the same person anymore since last time. And I'm so surprised how much can change within such a short amount of time. And I'm talking about mentally, physically, and spiritually, all of them. Like last time, I think I made an episode. I wasn't in the brightest place. I was going through a divorce, and it was heading towards the tail end of it. But still, I was still discovering or connecting to my own roots again. And ever since then, I'm getting more in touch with my own roots or myself and feel more comfortable in my own skin and what it means to be me. And it's a liberating feeling to kind of just feel like you're you. You know, there's no show. There's no like, okay, how should I approach this person? You know, perhaps they don't like satire, dry jokes, or what have you. It's not a show. I can just be raw, and as in like, when I meet people, usually for the first time, you're kind of proper. But it's like instead of doing that, you can just be like, yo, you know what I mean? It's like I don't have to be like, well, hello, good morning, sir. How is your evening? How is your afternoon? May I beg your pardon, sir? Like it doesn't have to be that. So it feels very liberating to just be like in your own skin, like be comfortable. And I think about this a lot of times. Like would I do it again? Would I go through everything I've been through just to be where I'm at? And 2,000% I would. The journey of like going through, let's say, like, because I went through a divorce and that was like a part of me had to be stripped away. My old me was stripped away. Because living as a partner that you grow up with, you kind of mold into like two people molding into one. Or for my case, at least, I became a person for the person. Like I was a me for the person. So separating that and becoming like letting go of that identity is like, where do you start? Like, how do I even act? How do I behave? And it was a strange journey for me because I was working during this time. I was like busy. I was still proper most of the time when I interacted with people, just very trying to be as nice as I could. But somewhere along the line, I just got so tired of being like so proper, like I didn't I couldn't say the things I wanted to say. And why don't I just do that? Why don't I just say it? So it took some time to kind of build up that courage and to build up that muscle memory, to not care what people think and to just be in my own skin and not pretend like I am someone else. Because I felt like I was so stiff when I did that. And it didn't feel good. It's almost like, imagine if you're trying to walk and you're trying to walk so straight, or you're trying to walk on eggshells. You can't really move and flow in life. And I don't know if you tried, but if you ever get the chance to, try to go and swim and tighten your body up, like tightening it super tight. And what's going to end up happening is that you're gonna end up sinking. If your body's super straight and tense, you're gonna sink. But if you just relax, like if you just let your body, like relax, just chill, we're gonna float by default. Like you're gonna float. And so the same thing goes with kind of like in life. If I'm always so tight, if I'm always so tense all the time, I'm gonna be rigid, like going through life like that kind of feels like swimming when you are very tense. And that's not a good feeling. Swimming like that is not enjoyable. And imagine if I would have to swim every day, regardless of what I do. I wake up, I have to swim. Would I swim like that? Swimming like a very tense positioning, I would just use so much energy just trying to resist the water, resisting myself, resisting the flow of life. And that's not a way to go. At least I wouldn't want to do that. Like looking all pretty and sexy, in the water, like being all tense and looking like really proper, like, nah. Yeah, I might look pretty in the water, swimming like with perfect, like form and all that, but it's not gonna feel good. Like in the long run, sometimes you just want to relax, just lay in your back and just chill, You can do that if you're just swimming, just leaning into your own skin, leaning into yourself, in this case, myself, and I can just be me. And that goes with everything and every day in life. Now on, at least, I feel liberating. I can just do me and not care. And even if those who judge me or what have you, think whatever you want to think, then that's not for me. Why would I care about that person who judges me? That makes no sense. Like, if they have the capability of judging me and thinking something bad about me without even knowing me, then do you, then do that. But I'm not gonna dabble into that. That's your energy that you're spending on and judging me on. Sure. But I don't want to interact with you. I don't want to be, that's not my, that's has nothing to do with me. That's you. So I'll do me regardless. And if those who like me, then I just filtered out those who don't like me or want me for a certain persona. And imagine being with someone who wants you for a certain persona. Like imagine if all they want from you is like this idea of you, and then it's not even you. And having to perform like that every day, that's exhausting. Imagine being with someone and all you have to do is just perform and trying to be this person that you're not. That would drive me crazy, And when you don't perform, they throw you away. Nah, man. So that's just the thought of that just makes me not, but maybe regret not doing it sooner. But like in life, everything happens for a reason, and it happens on its own pace. Like this reminds me a lot of like seasons in life, like when in the springtime the flower will bloom, and in the summer it will not enjoy, but it will absorb as much sunlight as it can, turn that into sugar, and then store it when it goes into winter. So it has its seasons. So perhaps my season just bloomed, So if you are in a season that you feel like you're still trying to shed, just know that it takes time. I wasn't always like this, and I wish that people could just feel this a lot more. And if you're watching it to this point, then you're probably one of those people. And just know that it takes time. Like it's almost like when you are learning how to ride a bike. You always had three wheels on, right? Because it's safe. You cannot fail. Like you bike in society, whatever you do, it's acceptable. You're politically correct. You say the right things, and you're always on the line. But you cannot ride the way you want to ride. Because if you do that, then that means you don't have that safety zone. You're going to fall. And like anything in life, when you fall, just get back up and just do it again. It's going to hurt, yeah. But just the beginning. But after that, it's like you're free. You can bike whatever you want to bike, wherever you want to go, do whatever you want to do. And it's so liberating. The last metaphor before I call it. Like imagine if we all were raised in like this chicken coop. And let's say that me and you, right, were an eagle, but we all look like chickens. And all the chickens and everything that grows inside this coop has been told that you cannot fly. You lay eggs, right? And then everyone lay eggs besides us. And then we think, what's wrong with me? Why can't I lay eggs? I'm defected. I'm stupid. I'm broken. Blah, 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 blah. And then we start shaming ourselves because we're not like everyone else. This is where we fucked up. You see, we're an eagle, right? Everyone else is a chicken. They have wings, we have wings. They don't fly, but we can fly. But the moment we realize that we are an eagle, we can spread our wings and fly. But also, again, this means that we will leave everything behind. Everything we know, everyone we know, everything we have learned, everything that has to do with this chicken coop that we have been raised in, we would have to let all of that go. On the upside, that means that now we're going to soar the sky as an eagle and fly and live our life as eagles, which is totally unknown. We don't know what's out there. We don't know how to operate this life, but it is our true nature to operate like this. And if we trust the instinct that we have, we're going to be okay. If you trust yourself, if you trust your decisions, that you feel like it's the right thing to do, that's the intuition. But if you do things because you think it's right, because of X, Y, Z have told you that it is the right thing to do, then that's the chicken coop. So you decide. But I think this will end it here. Yeah, if you made it to this point, again, thank you for listening, and be kind to yourself. Things takes time. Just know where you want to go. Like, let's say, like you're trying to shed your skin, shed yourself. When you want to be more like yourself, you want to be more in your own skin and be comfortable. It just takes time. It takes, like, for example, I'm dragging this on from what? Okay, last example. For example, I was really uncomfortable with creating boundaries. That was one thing that I was like, how do I do this? I'm just gonna tell this person that, hey, don't do this. I can do that. And this was a new language. I didn't know how to do this, And eventually, because I didn't come from a place of creating boundaries, I was always like the people pleaser. Whatever people wanted, I would please that. I would sacrifice myself for the sake of peace. Big mistake. Big mistake. And so, over time, I learned to say, hey, whatever you did, whatever you did, let's say they didn't wash the dishes, whatever. I say, hey, you mind doing the dishes? so and so. It doesn't have to be serious, you know, it's just like, it could be playful, but it's like, if you're new to this in this time, like I was so scared of creating that boundary. But doing that means that you respect yourself, because it's like it gives you a peace of mind and give you place, your space, you know? Like no one's just, people can't just step on you and lay on top of you and do whatever they want with you. And you know, like it's not a good place to be, and it doesn't feel right. Imagine if you took a fish out of the sea and you start wiggling it up in the air. That's not good. Or you take a bird, you tie a string to it. Okay, I think it might fall offline here, but it's gonna stop here. But the whole premise of this is that I'm getting in touch with myself again, more and more, and it feels very liberating to do so, and it takes time. And it's the small battles, like creating boundaries and learning how to be me again, and those things are what gives that feeling of liberation, to be free, to be in your own skin and do whatever you want to do. Okay, that should be it for today. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you on the next one.